Okay, here we have a look at yourisp.co.nz, and these guys are the internet service provider, and they're asking you to host a website. And this picture shows the layout diagrammatically or schematically of what's going to go on. This is a house and possibly other houses too. And in the house is a router in our S205 lab. This router is represented by the TP-Link white wireless router we've got. And that connects to the WAN coming from out here. And this is up the other end of S205, which we have hard ported through the wall. So we've bridged two of the LAN ports in the wall, and we've got an ASUS router which we're just making a switch at the moment. It's the only thing we've got that we can use as a switch, and hanging off that is the server, and that server carries the website we're hosting, which in our case is going to be a Golf Harbour Country Club junior golf club, right? And their site is on that server, and it'll go through the switch and then back out. Looking at the next photograph we've taken, this is diagrammatically also of what's going on, and we'll just zoom in a bit here. How far can we go? Yeah, we can zoom in a fair way. So up here at the top we can see, we'll start down the bottom actually. Our router that we use in our room has got this IP address 192.168.1.1, and it can have between 100 and 254 as its range, and its gateway is 192.168.1.1, the same as its IP address. When we look at what we're doing with the ISP company, your brief requires you to use a range 172.16.150.1, and this denotes a class C, I believe it is, which is allowing for 256 or 255 addresses, counting 0. And the switch will be set. You'll need to set it at this address, .1. And then the range, because you're going to set a range of 100 addresses, I believe you're setting the range for DCHP to allocate addresses that are .100 to .199, which is actually 100. Yeah, or maybe 101 to 200 or something like that. There's your DHCP, gateway is the same. The server, which is the computer that feeds the information for the website, is going to have an address of 10. That's not mandatory. You could allow the switch to give DHCP, and it could pick up anything under the range that you're allocating customers. So somewhere above 1 and below 100 perhaps. And that's an overview of the system. If we were going to get more complicated, we could look at wirelessly going out to other houses. But for the purposes of our exercise, we'll stick with that. Alrighty.
DHCP, and we can reserve an IP address and add it. So we just need to find the MAC address of the WAN on that, and then we're fine. We can add it. I'd have to come here to set the IP. You might want to change that. You could have it as a rule. Hey, it's the wrong IP, we're going to change it. As said, if you wanted this to be your host, and they're configuring this based on the host, then they have to see what the IP is on there and set the network in here. And then they do DHCP server, so that thing will work down there. It would be good if we could have seen the clients. I'm not showing any clients there. 64. Yeah. So we this is showing something many, so there's nothing in here. No. Pity, it's not showing me the list of users. So I would say that means I need to go and look at the see what the MAC address is on this. WAN. There's nothing here, is there? It's got the MAC of the LAN there. It's not giving me one for the WAN.
Could how?
Have a utility that would scan the network and tell you the MAC. That's a bit too much though.
It's getting pretty involved, isn't it?
Oh, actually, some of them actually have a sticker on there. Oh, there's one here. I just need to see if it's the same number.
Yes.
Not there. Can you click on LAN?
F4EC 38C9 4BF2.
Yeah, that's what it has here.
Well, that doesn't help us because it doesn't have the other one.
That's the LAN MAC.
Or
There's got to be a way. Look, surely you'd be able to log into a router. These are all the clients. I can't see it there. Oh, here you go. Ha!
it's there.
There it's the MAC. Are you kidding me? That's the same number. 4BF3, it can't be.
Oh, how's that then?
Because you've got two network adapters
Hmm.
on the router. Oh, good, you got it.
Okay.
So eventually, everyone who connects, their list will show here. So you're not there, but if you're wired, I'd see you pop up there. So you might want to just note this down, because that's the MAC of the WAN port.
Okay.
So if you wanted to assign, if they got stuck and it didn't show, you could say, okay.
So we're looking at the ASUS.
I don't think it's there.
You don't think it's there? No. So we'll Google it. Yeah, it must be there, surely. No, it doesn't tell us. Okay, to set the router, we go into its address. Browse it. Browse the ASUS.
Currently, it's...
Currently, yeah, only currently.
So remember, for the router, IP config,
gateway, yep.
get the gateway, browse to it,
Yep. You can go
then
down
log
to
in,
admin,
administration, restore.
save, restore settings, and that'll factory default. And so will we go down to the other and CP to find out what it is now? Is that right? Or how do we know?
We're already connected here.
Okay,
Wired.
all right.
So we can release and renew on this PC.
All right.
It might even redirect you here. And cut.
Yeah, all right, and cut, yeah. Done the whole thing.
Oh, it has. And it's very good. So what's happened here is now we've got a 192.168.1.1.
Which is the same as the other one.
Yes.
But, what if the kids leave it at that?
If it stays at this, and their client computer... No, because that route will be 1.1 as well.
Yes, I know. So if I try and browse it, we don't know which one we're looking at.
No, that router will get confused.
Everyone's
Because
confused.
its gateway from here will be 1.1
Yeah.
when its IP address is 1.1.
Alright. Okay, so we need to log on, so the admin.
So we're hoping, because we have reset to defaults, we're hoping admin.
Oh yeah, it's a bit exciting if it's not.
Oh, actually, it says it here.
Oh,
After it's been
look at that.
admin, next.
Did you know that? You're so
Ah.
clever.
It even wants me to start
Oh
configuring
my
it.
goodness, my
You want
goodness.
that?
We can't reuse admin, can we?
No, we can.
Oh, we can. Okay, I'll let you do that. Yeah, do that then. Yep. Yep, just go through the process. And now do we have to release?
It's
and-
trying to run a wizard. Do we want to just cancel all that?
If we don't need it, sure. Oh, it starts to detect. Well, the kids will probably leave that running, won't they? Start to detect your connection type. Is that what it's doing now? Detecting.
Yeah, it's trying to connect to the internet.
Which I won't find. Please ensure your phone cover. Okay, so we need to get out of that. Let's go.
So we just click home. Yeah, go away. Wireless. No, we don't do that. So we can just close everything, shall we?
Yep.
So I could put a shortcut here if you want. To
Why
make
did
it
you do
easier.
that? Why did you close? I think you need to
I was
release.
just trying to run a wizard.
Yeah, no. Why did you
Well, this
close?
has to be stopped.
Close the command. I thought you wanted a command prompt to do a release and a thing and find out what's going on.
Well, it must have turned the network port off. That also renews it when you unplug it and plug it back in. So in the reset when the router restarted, I
Mhm.
must have lost my connectivity here.
Yeah.
And it came back.
So it came back
And then-
because it gave it a DHCP.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh,
And
yes,
then
and
the
you
browser knew
pointed.
to go. to
Okay,
1.1.
so there was no release renew required.
No.
Okay.
You know, you could shut this down or something during the. So was it 192?
168.1.1. Yes, it's definitely there still. Admin still works.
Okay, so it wants to run the wizard. Okay, so why don't we just go? We might have to go through this. Admin next. Go home. Sorry, I mean these. Okay. Home. Try home again. It wants to put something on here. It actually wants to set up a wireless, so we have to turn it off once you do that.
That's a pain. Okay, access.
Copy 2.4, next. Oh, it has to be 8. Zeusnet, how many is that? 3, 4,
7.
6, 7. Zeusnet 1.
Okay, now. Alright, so we've done that. The next.
Okay, so we followed the wizard, and we have two wireless networks here called Zeus. If I click on each of them, where was it here? It's one of these. No. It is turned off. Pause it while I try to find it.
Pause.
No, it's not actually on.
Okay,
So I'll change that to turn it on.
we don't want that, do we?
I just want to see if the light comes on. Take a while. You don't have to go in here if someone
Yep.
knows how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't come on.
Didn't come on.
And it stayed off there. Disabled, so that's good. Sure, that's where it was. Nothing in here.
So we don't want any enabling of wireless. It's
No.
flashing away, that wasn't it?
No, that's something else. It says something hasn't been configured.
Oh, okay, great.
Okay, so the radio is turned off on the
Alright.
2.4 and it's turned off on the 5. So that's why you're not seeing a light. If I turned it on here,
Oh, I don't want to reset it again. Waste time.
yeah, so we don't,
need it.
that.
We don't need to worry about it. No.
Okay, so this could confuse WAN. We don't have an internet connection. LAN though, however, 192.168.1.1. That's the IP of this router.
Which we need to change because it's also the IP of the TP link.
That's right. That's the first thing you have to do.
Right.
Get it off the same range, so they're browsing two different networks.
Now they've been given a range to use, and we have to use that.
That's right. So if I go 172.16.150.1, apply. So we're in LAN IP tab, and we're setting it 172.16.150.1. Apply. So we're giving the router a static IP.
Yep. All right.
Is that recording? See, now we've got a problem here because when we are you recording?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so when we restarted the router or reset it, it turned off the LAN. Oh, now it's come back. Oh, that's good. So we don't have to do a release and renew.
All right. All right.
It's actually turn off the adapter, turn it back on itself. So if we go back,
why is it on?
AI radar.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought it was the was. Okay.
Okay, so if I go back to LAN, I now have a correct IP, or the IP I want to give it.
Yep.
That could be 254. Could be anything. DHCP server.
Couldn't be anything above 254.
Could be anything in the range of the network.
In the range of okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Now where are you going? DHCP server, turning it on, are you?
Yeah. So what this is doing, DHCP by default is starting the range at .2
because this is
to 2.4.
Yeah. Okay.
So this
good.
is out of the box.
Yep.
So we have no room for a static IP. So if I gave this web server an IP address, it's going to overlap a DHCP scope.
Can we?
So we have to manually change this.
All right.
So we could say if we said 100 addresses, right?
We can start it.
We can go 100 to 200.
All right. That's 101.
That's right.
Yep.
Cut.
That's all right.
And take 50.
Yeah. Right.
And apply.
Okay.
The router. What's your date? Okay, so the scope is enabled. Okay, what's clearly missing here, are you recording? Is the gateway.
Indeed.
So my IP address on this router is 172.16.150.1. I have to make sure the gateway 150.1 is in there. So if I come to my command prompt here, ipconfig/all, I see I have the DHCP server is 150.1, the gateway is 150.1. It's interesting that it's actually done that, because it's not specified there. I'm going to apply that, and I'm going to just see if I still get it, because that should be a bug. And I'm going to lose my connection to the router. Got a red X there, connection gone. Renew. So it's still giving me. That's interesting. So you can see something's not quite right. No gateway is specified here, but yet I'm given one.
So it's automatic.
That's right.
So why?
But I would say, okay, this would be probably for something else. If you don't want the gateway to be the router and you want it to point somewhere else, you could.
All right. So we leave this alone. We don't even need it.
That's right. So we could, as you could have a switch and then you have the gateway somewhere else.
All right.
So we just have to leave it.
That's fine.
But it'll be good exercise because DNS is also blank. ipconfig/all shows me my DNS server is also 150.1. Whoops, so even though
it's blank,
it's blank here, I don't know if it's showing wins. No, it's not. So that's good. That's just going to work for them. Okay, so one of the exercises would be your client wants a static IP address.
Oh, does he?
Remember that?
Yes, I remember that. Mm.
So, in your, are you recording?
Yes.
Okay, for excellence, whatever, employee of the month,
Oh, yes.
you're going to want to plug in the router, and it's called DGT server. So you want to plug the router in. Basically, when the Zeus router here is giving out IP addresses, it remembers them. So the TP-Link router will show in here. Could be this one here. This is possibly the MAC address for the TPG router.
Possibly. I like the word possibly.
Yes. But to find it, you could actually... I think this one here because it's F3 and F2.
Yeah, that's right.
From the sticker at the back.
Yep.
So we could say if the client wants a static IP address, come along here. Currently it's 209, but we could just change this number here to 34, whatever. Okay, and you can add it. So that means on the TP-Link router, next time it's restarted or the address is renewed on the WAN, it's going to get this IP address every time. It's a reserved IP address.
Okay, shall we go down and see?
Yep. Cool, that'll be it. You can go and have a look. Can you record it?
Do I have to get out of this and then browse back to the...
No, you can go to the WAN part and click on that button that said renew or something.
Refresh.
Refresh, is it?
Yeah, refresh. Do I do release? No.
That's 208. Oh, that's the old one, so if you go release...
Yeah. Release, 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 release. And then renew.
You're looking for 34. 172.16150.34.
Okay, it's obtaining it. Well,
It's coming, here it comes. Here comes your order, sir.
Would you like fries with that?
Would you like to upsize that, not fries? I'm not playing that to kids, eh?
Yes.
Okay, it looks like it's done it, so what's WAN say? 4BF3, so it's given it 150.140. So it's not quite right. But you can see the MAC address. 4BF3.
So where was the one? You had 138 on it, 134 on that.
It's still, because my computer's here as well. 4BF3. So it should have that IP, but it's not getting it.
So?
What's the other one? 5D. Address been lost. Okay, there's something else. So there's a problem there.
Well, for achieved, Mr. Graeme Lee, you have
What
to
do you
fix
have to
it.
do? That's right. So what it's possibly doing is it's when it's given a lease, the leases last 8 days.
Right.
And they start renewing after 4. So it's possible we need just to clear the list, but seeing where that is cleared, we're not too sure, so we can restart the router.
Reset it, restart it or reset it?
So we save this setting here, we restart this, not reset.
Okay.
So that'll clear any leases it's given, and then we restart that one, see if we get it. Good test.
Okay. Right now I'm confused.
Explain it. Pity I've got a high resolution screen here.
It's
And a better
beautiful.
mouse.
It's a beautiful mouse.
Things I have to work with in my employment.
I know.
On this
You need a ride.
renew. So key thing, here's the WAN MAC address.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks very similar to the LAN one.
Just the F2 and F3, isn't it?
That's right.
They'll always be the same?
They will be, yep.
They will be, okay.
There you go, 34. Bingo.
Oh, look, we've got 34. Now, why? Tell us why
I
we
didn't
said
apply.
Oh, you didn't apply? Okay.
Yeah, I said, yep, give it in.
Okay.
So what we have here is we have a reservation from the ISP.
Mm-hmm.
It's not quite static because I'm not seeing, I have no control over the WAN. But if my ISP has given me a reserved IP address, every time I log on, that's what I'm going to get. Normally I log in with my credentials.
So right now, this if we turn this whole network off and we come back tomorrow, turn it all back on,
Yes.
this will still be.
I'm still going to get 34.
Yeah, it'll recognise. What if we reset that?
Even if you reset the router.
Really?
Yeah.
How's it know? How's it know?
Because the MAC address.
Oh, okay.
My router knows this MAC address.
And this MAC address, how does the MAC address relate to...
It's physical.
It's physical on that thing, so it'll always be... So that, from factory, will always transmit...
That's right. Every network device will have a MAC address that's unique.
Okay, that's cool. Now I understand. Thank you.
Okay, so we told on the router, this MAC address is going to get this IP address.
Fantastic.
Every time they log on.
Fantastic. Okay.
So that means they can run their own web server, they can host their own whatever.
Yep, alright. Okay. So we now can see 3D4. Yep.
And that's it there. So we haven't added that to your notes.
We need to.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Stop recording. Go.
Okay. So the LAN here, one of the requirements was the DHCP range needed to be 101 to 200.
Yes.
So our web server needed to have a static IP address that is not in this range.
Mm-hmm.
So if I come here, I can see, if I just click that IP config all, I see this is my IP address, 150.158.
Mm-hmm.
It's also showing here, but if I was given a different IP address, this would be different, so that has to be stop and start. Key thing, 150.158, that's in my range. Here. So I failed. What that means is my clients could get that IP address.
Someone could duplicate. Yep.
That's right.
And you could be stuffed. Okay. Yep.
So what I have to do is just manually go to my networking here, change adapter settings, excuse me, and I need to change it here. And let's say 10. .1, because that's the IP of the router. My DNS server is also a router. See here? DNS 150.1. So I've got to make sure that's right. So this server is going to become .10. So I can close that now. I got IP config .10. Oh, my subnet mask is wrong. Let's go back. We're on a Class C network.
Meaning?
Well, meaning as the other video, the router is running on this network 172.168.150/24. So this is 8.16.24. So this has to be the same as my router. If I left that as a Class B, we're on two different networks. Right, now that's correct. IP address is .10. This is still showing the old .158, but if I start, it's now .10.
Cool.
So, I'd want to go there and ping it, wouldn't I?
I would. 172.16.150.10, is it?
I could have done it that way, or I could have given that a resolution as well. Depends on what you prefer. But let's see if I can ping it. I need my keyboard. So I want to ping 172.16.150. Can't type. It's a keyboard stodgy. .10. The P key's not working.
Timing out.
Why is that timing out? So let's ping. See if I can ping the router.
.1. No, you didn't .dot, did you?
Oh no. You might want to re-record that. I'm missing the Control C to. Right, I can ping the router.
So
putting
why
my...
can't you ping? Is there a firewall?
Yes, that could be the firewall. So we can start there. Why don't we just turn the firewall on and off. Let's see if I can ping. The firewall is stopping pinging.
Okay, so that's good to know.
So that means, okay, we can browse here. I come here. 150.10. It's a website. So my web server has a static IP.
Yep, it's definitely working. Perfect.
So as part of your testing, you could say they need to ping the web server, but to do that they have to turn the firewall off.
And
Once they are satisfied it works, then we can turn it back on.
So the next person.
Yes.
Hmm.
See how that?
Yeah, so recommended settings turns it back on anyway, doesn't it? Is that right?
I had to click it though.
Oh, you had to click it, okay. All right.
This Windows being very helpful.
Very cool. Okay, well I think we're there. So we're now demonstrating standard tools, standard networking tools. Networking.
With a dodgy keyboard.
Okay.
Okay, we want to trace route.
Trace RT.
Trace RT, the web server. 172.16.150.10.
So it shows where the signal goes.
So what it's showing me here, this is the gateway of my router. Ooh, request timed out.
I love it that technicians have trouble too.
And the rest all time out. So if I would trace route into the, there you go, 2 hops.
What did you change?
I changed the IP, so I did a trace
10.
route to the IP of the Zeus.
But 10 up here that you initially did, what was that?
The 10 was the web server.
Oh, okay. Well, why wouldn't it do? Because we've got our firewall back on. Is it one?
Possibly. I'll turn it on.
Okay. So we're going to turn the firewall off.
So what you can see is the 2 gateways. So the first one's the gateway of that router, and you've got the gateway of this router.
Perfect. Yeah. So that
Firewall.
firewall's a massive problem. Yeah, it's doing what it's supposed to do, isn't it? We know about ping. What was the other one? IP config. We know about that.
So we
too.
can't ping and trace route with the firewall.
Yeah. Why would you use traceroute over ping?
Trace route you would use for a bit more complex network. You want to see where your data's going. So it might be going through one switch and not the other. So you really want to see those gateways.
Okay. I guess I was aiming at you somewhere there.
Yeah.
And IP config, just IP config. So we want release.
So you want IP config all.
All. So when you first get there, all. So it's /get all.
Yes. So IP config just gives you a basic.
Yep. And then all.
IP subnet.
Oh,
all.
yeah. You did a space first. I thought the space came after the slash. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, but all gives me, it tells me where my DHCP server is, DNS server.
Okay.
It also will give me a MAC address.
A MAC address.
It tells me which network adapter it is.
Of that thing, is it, of the TP-Link?
This.
Oh, the MAC address of itself.
Yes.
Aha. Ah, okay, all right. And explain why you would have to release and renew an IP config release.
If the network changes, and the adapter doesn't know about it, i.e. you haven't unplugged the cable or plugged it back in,
Yep.
you'll have to do a release and renew. If you change the DHCP scope on that router,
When you said the adapter doesn't know about it, on the back of the
physical
on the back
adapter,
on the back
yeah,
of
that's
the okay, all right, yeah, okay, now I'm with you.
Mm.
All right. So you do a release, renew, okay. So the other way of doing that would be to unplug the cable physically, plug it back in. It would know it's had a release and renew. Has to obtain another DHCP
that's right.
address.
Mm.
Okay, from the router or whatever. That's it. Yeah, and ping is just connectivity. Cool. And the key thing was?
Okay, testing. First thing, you want to make sure that, say, the IP address of this network, your home network, is not the same as the IP address
Otherwise you're stuck.
of the WAN.
Yep.
So if I try to browse to 192.168.1.1, that's this machine here. If my Zeus gave...
No, that's...
Oh, sorry.
That's the one.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, carry on.
1 dot whatever this is giving me,
Yes, okay.
which is normally 100,
Mm-hmm.
if you've set up, or if it's out of the box, it's probably .2. Shall we start again?
Right.
Take one over.
Go. For testing.
Okay, testing. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Take.
Okay, first step would be to just make sure that the IP address, the DHCP scope, is not the same as on the Zeus.
On the WAN, yep.
Okay, so what that means is, out of the box, the TP link is probably going to give us 192.168.1.2.
And the reason is it itself is .1.
And it's starting the
It's
range
starting
of
the
.2
range,
to
okay, alright.
254.
Yep, fine.
So now if the Zeus is the same, it would have given the WAN port on the TP link .2 as well.
Okay.
So if I wanted to try and ping the Zeus router, and I type 192.168.1.2, I'm actually pinging myself.
Right.
It's got no way of knowing. So the networks have to be on different ranges.
And you won't know. If you're a noob, you'll ping and you'll say, oh, I'm getting through. And you
Until
won't know.
you try to browse.
Till you try and browse, and then you won't find it. Okay.
Okay, so that's for the first thing. Make sure the two networks are different.
Yep.
Second thing is just make sure that you are getting the WAN IP address that you specified on the Zeus. So you can log into the TP link here, which hopefully it's still on here.
Yes, it is, yeah.
And these are reserved IP address, which just happens to be .34.
Yep.
Okay, so you know that the Zeus is working there.
Yes.
So
and
we could try and trace route to, or ping, the Zeus now, because you've got an IP. So you know.
Hang on. That's the Zeus.
No,
oh no,
that's
sorry,
TP.
that's TV. Sorry, that's my brain. Yep.
Take
carry
10.
on. Take 10. No.
Yeah. So yeah, you can ping the IP address of the Zeus if you want to.
Okay.
And then the next step would be to ping the IP address of the server. It's hosting the web.
Fantastic. Yes, that is cool. That is cool. And is the web address exactly the same as the server that's hosting it?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Okay. All right. And as long as we know, if we've set this, we know that the IP network we need is 172.
That's right. So you've got to make sure in the Zeus that this MAC address is used to reserve that IP address.
Yeah. And so we're in the TP link window here, looking at the WAN, which is looking out at the Zeus. Yay. Is that right?
Well, the WAN is
No,
received.
The WAN is received. You.
The IP address.
IP address from the Zeus. Cool. I think we're done. So
Maybe we couldn't put a physical name instead of browsing to the IP address. Can't see this Zeus doing that. But
okay.
that wouldn't be using a simple web server. We'd actually use IIS on this.
Using what?
IIS, Microsoft's web server.
Oh, okay.
See anything? We're done.